Around a month ago, near the middle of July, Commander Cobra decided to go voxel hunting around the Stuemeae sector, the sector that contains Sagittarius A star, the Milky Way's supermassive black hole. Upon typing in the voxel Stuemeae AA-AF to show all of the systems within the F0 voxel, he noticed something peculiar. Stuemeae AA-AF0 wasn't there. Despite his searching, he just couldn't find it. He messaged the IEA Discord about this problem, which is where I found out about it. I myself looked it up in the galaxy map, and alas, F0 was omitted. It just didn't exist. I tried searching nearby F voxels to see if they also didn't have an F0 system, but they did. Adjacent sectors also still had their AA-A F0 system. This isn't the first time we had this scenario where systems would not show up in the galaxy map search. For those of you who played Horizons or still play in Legacy, attempting to search HMAS voxels in certain sectors only turned up a handful of HMAS systems that sometimes did not start at H0 and were instead at like H33 to H40 or something. With the arrival of Odyssey and the revamp of the Galaxy Map GUI, these systems finally showed up. However, they weren't actual systems, but empty areas in space. Still, the fact that these empty spaces still showed up in the search bar means that this phenomenon is not what is going on here. The only instance where searching systems doesn't return anything nowadays is when you attempt to query systems in a sector that is extremely low stellar density. Even then, entering the exact system name will still make it show up and targetable. My second thought about what this might be is the G2 dust cloud, a dark nebula that in my mind was somewhere near Sagittarius A star. It was a total guess, and I didn't think it was the case because major nebulae are always considered HMAS systems. When I searched it, it took me to another sector entirely, the Eostrea sector. Attempting to search it was successful, and it still shows up as a nebula normally does with the stars icon next to it, its real name being Eostrea AA-AH0. So obviously, Stuemeae AA-AF0 wasn't a nebula. Thinking about what else might be an F-mass object, I thought of catalog stars. Stars imported from catalogs still have an associated Procedurally system name. An example is Sagittarius A star, which funnily enough is also the system Stuemeae AA-A G0, a G mass, and not H as I would have thought for a supermassive black hole. But this too wasn't the answer either, because if such a catalog star existed at all, searching Stuemeae AA-AF0 would still point me in the right direction. What if F0 originally was a catalog star, but was then forcibly removed? What star could be imported from a catalog and show up all the way out here? My first thought was Source 2, the main sequence B-type star orbiting Sagittarius A star. While creating the galaxy, S2 might have been imported as a standalone system and given the ProcGen identifier of Stuemeae AA-A F0, which makes sense as it is a higher mass B-type star at 15 solar masses. FDev might have wanted to include S2 in the Sagittarius A star system instead, so they modified the black hole system to have S2 in it and straight up deleted the original system for S2, which made the AA-A F0 voxel no longer have its first system. Of all the theories in this video, I think this one is the most likely, S2 just having been deleted entirely. Speaking of deleting things, some of you might also have thought that because the sector is well within the suppression cross of the galaxy and therefore higher mass systems have had their star types changed, that this might have been the result of the suppression. I don't think this is the case, as these star systems still exist, but they are instead occupied by star types that were allowed to generate within it. As such, they are still searchable. If somehow some systems were deleted entirely by this process, I didn't find any. My last idea was somewhat of a long shot, as it was fun to think about and is technically plausible? Maybe. Here's my theory. For those of you who don't know, the landscape signal is an audio signal that can be heard when pointing your ship or camera in the direction of Sagittarius A star. This signal can be picked up from anywhere in the galaxy when pointing at the center. Its name comes from the shape the sound creates in the spectrograph, which appears to look like a drawing of a mountain. Folks at both Canon as well as the independent Raxel hunters attempted to pinpoint the exact location of this signal. I read in the paper the latter published about the research into the landscape signal and saw that they had triangulated its position to an area not far from Sagittarius A star. The paper says that the signal originates from somewhere in between these five systems. One of these systems is Stuemeae GG-Y C4801. Looking at the containing voxels from Stuemeae GG-Y C0 shows its parent voxel is Stuemeae BA-AD0, which is contained within AA-AE0, which is contained within AA-AF0. Is it all possible that the system Stuemeae AA-AF0 is the location of the origin of the landscape signal? I don't know. Probably not. This is all just theory. I have no idea where the system is hiding. Commander Cobra even joked that the system is definitely Raxla. What theory do you guys most agree with? Do you have any theories of your own as to where Stuemeae AA-AF0 went? Please share in the comments below. I'd like to read them. Anyway, that's the end of the video. It's kind of short. It's just a little something I want to make regarding something I've never really seen before. A system that literally just doesn't exist, especially a ProGen system. Well, that's all. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I think Main Organic. Till next time.